This conference will now be recorded.
This is Keith Bover with the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality, and this is a brief video tutorial on how to submit your annual Virginia Environmental Excellence Program report using the myDEQ portal. Before you can use the portal, you'll have to register. Click register. You'll have to put in your email address, first and last name, organization, phone number, and come up with a password, and then register. Once you register, a confirmation email will be sent to your email address. Click on the link to confirm your email, and then you can come back to the login page and log in. A quick note about the confirmation email: you have only 30 minutes to confirm your email once you received it. If you do not confirm in that time, then you will have to re-register. I'm working on a test platform today. That's why there's a test in my email address. As I log in, and we hit log in. And now we see the DEQ portal dashboard. What you're going to be interested in is this bottom section here, below these brightly colored buttons. And when you log in for the first time, this is going to be blank. You can see I have access to a report here. I've given myself access to kind of expedite this demo. When you first register and log in for the first time, you won't have request access available to you, and you won't have my memberships available to you. What you'll have to do then is go to My Account, and you'll have to complete your profile in the dashboard. So it's basically stuff that you already filled out when you registered, and maybe your address. Once that is complete, you can close that, and if you scroll down, you can see Request Access, Additional Access. This is how you request access to the report you're going to be filling out in your membership report. You can see here that I've already requested access to a report that I mentioned on the previous page, and that access is approved. So I'll briefly go through the requesting access process. You'll want to go to the VEEP tab, hit next. Then ideally, to get access to the report you want, you're going to have to type in your VEEP number. Now, not everyone knows their VEEP number. The best place to find it is on the most recent renewal letter that you've gotten from your 3-year renewal. If you don't have that in front of you and you don't know the number, you have the option to click on this and request that information. You're going to request your VEEP number. So you're asking for VEEP, record type, VEEP. You want to have access to view it, to edit it, sign and submit it. Fill out your information, your name, address. This is the big one, facility name. This is going to help us figure out what your VEEP number is. When you hit submit request, it's going to send an automated email to DEQ. We will find out what your VEEP number is, and then we will send it to you. The only way we are able to give you access is by you putting in your VEEP number here. Excuse me. We cannot manually enter you into the system. So I'm going to put in, here, I'll put in a wrong number first, E2-999. Invalid number. So that didn't work. We'll try E2-224. This should be the number for the Deerfield Correctional Facility. And there it is, correct. From there, you select and continue. Once you've got the right facility, you want to give yourself all your access, view, edit, sign, and submit, and then submit your request. You can see at the top, this green line is telling you that your request was submitted successfully. You scroll down to the bottom, you can see I have access, approved access here, status approved. to the original report that I showed you, and my access to this report I just asked for, the Deerfield Correctional Facility, this is pending. So a request has been sent to DEQ, and we will go in and approve this access for you. The rule is we have 2 days, typically 15 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. If you go a whole day without hearing from us, just send us an email and we'll check up and see what the holdup is. You know, sometimes we're out of the office for the day, but typically it's not a very long process. All right, so now we'll go back to the dashboard and you can see I have access to the Baskerville Correctional Center, which I already had access to. There's no access to Deerfield because it hasn't been approved. Before I go on, we'll just look at these other links we have over here. We went over my account. Request access is the same thing that we just went through for requesting access to a report. And then view my VEEP memberships. This is going to show you in a minute the last report that you submitted and your current report status. So you can see the last report was submitted in 2019. It's been approved. The current report is still in draft. This view my memberships is valuable because in case you ever have to refer to your previous report for any information, it's handy to have. All right, so that is registration and access requests. And now we'll quickly go through what you have to do to fill out your report. Most people are just going to have one report. That's all they're responsible for. Click on the report. You can see it's in draft, so we're working on it. There's 4 tabs across the top: general information, commitments, additional information, and history. There's information required for the first 3 tabs, and this is just a tracking tab that tells us when your report went into draft, when it was submitted, when it was approved, things like that. We'll go through the general information tab first. This is sort of a quality assurance tab. You're going to be able to go through and see how your facility is recorded in our database. If it's in good standing, have you done all the stuff you need to stay in the program? Yes, your VEEP number. You can see what your membership contacts are, who has access to the report, main facility address, any linked facilities. Some VEEP memberships have multiple facilities. Go back and close some of these tabs. And down here you see kids permits and non-kids permits. This is a little DEQ jargon. Most of environmental permits are kept in our kids database. So these are kids permits. That'll be mostly air, water, and solid waste. Non-kids permits include groundwater withdrawal and RCRA ID numbers. So that's kind of just a little insight about how we sort permits here. Voluntary programs. We want to know if you've won any awards or you're in any voluntary programs. There are none for this facility so far. Once you've checked all your information, you can come down here, and if you've seen anything that's wrong or you have a question about, you can submit a request. There was a permit you didn't understand, your membership contact is wrong. Fill it out, submit it. It'll send an automated email to us, and we can fix whatever the problem is or get back to you with any questions you have. If you go a little further, you can see there is the facility EMS info. We want to know the approximate acreage, square footage of your facility, and number of employees covered. It seems like it might be a burden to look this up, but earlier I showed you the My Memberships tab that you can click on and go to your old report, and that information will be there for you to just copy into this report. Just for ease and speed, we'll just put some numbers in. I'm putting numbers in to make sure that we're answering all the questions as we go, because if you do not answer all the questions, you cannot submit the report. There are a lot of narrative questions in this report, and that narrative is very important to us to help us figure out how you're improving environmental performance and how we can relate that to other companies or facilities. If you've won an award or you joined a voluntary program over the past year, here's your list of choices. You can pick one, maybe Virginia Green, pick your facility, put in some comments about it. If your award or program wasn't listed here, you can just tell us what it was there. Hit save and go on to the next page. At this point, I want to mention that as you go through the report, all your information is being saved. There's no buttons you have to press to save your information. It's real-time saving. If your VPN goes out or something happens to your computer, what information you've entered is going to be there for you. All right, these are the environmental commitments page. If you're an E2 member, you're going to report on one commitment, E3 member, 2 commitments, and E4, 3 commitments. You can report on more commitments than that if you want to. Here are some buttons that you can use to manage those commitments. This is just the table button that you click on to update your report. If your 3-year reporting cycle is over and you want to continue to report on the same thing, you can just hit plus and the web page will set up the continuation of the report for you automatically. If you're tired of something, you can get rid of it. You can just put it to trash. And if you start a new report, you have 1 year to edit the title, well, actually just the title of it. So let's just quickly add a commitment. We'll go through that process. All right, the title, we're going to report on greenhouse gas emissions. It can be, the title can be whatever you want. So that would be an air emission, subcategory greenhouse gas, and then your normalizing basis. You have some sort of mitigating factor that you compare your reporting number to. Number of products sold, units of product produced, that's usually a good one for greenhouse gas. Hit save. You go down, and here's your new report, all ready to fill out. Since we don't want to report on this, we'll just hit trash. We're in E2. We only have to report on one thing. We're reporting on purchased electricity for a 3-year cycle. So you can see at this point that your environmental reporting commitment is not complete. How do we know this? Is complete? No. Years reported, 2018, 2019. If it was complete, this would be a 2020 after that. In the band that this report is in, it's pink. Sometimes it looks a little yellow to me. Once your report is complete, it will be blue. So let's go in and finish this report. Click on the table, and we want to know what you're doing, what this facility is doing to produce electricity. And since they're basically on a 3-year commitment, you can hit additional, you can hit the edit button, and then copy and paste last year's answer. So they're adding efficient bulbs, working on their HVAC system. Hit save. You don't have to carry over your explanation from year to year. It can be different if you want. The normalizing, these people normalize by the square footage of the facility, the size of the facility. Hit save. And then we go down to the actual numeric data. You can see that the units are in BTUs, million BTUs. You can change that if you want. Go to unit selection. You can report on kilowatt hours, megawatt hours, just BTUs. We'll keep it million BTUs for now. All right, so we'll just edit numeric data so we can put our numbers in. We'll just make up some numbers for this demo. We'll say 7,500. We'll say the square footage of the facility remain the same. And then once you've manually added these two numbers, you can just hit return, and the bottom two numbers are calculated for you, the normalizing factor and the normalizing number. So if electricity usage had doubled in 2020 and then square footage of the facility had also doubled, then you can see how that would have impacted the energy use and would have been calculated in the normalized quantity there. So essentially you would have been using the same amount of energy from year to year once you normalized. All right, cost savings. We want to know if we saved any energy doing this. Let's say we saved $100 or $1,000. You can add last year's explanation. Not applicable. Well, we'll say we save money through electric costs. And then we scroll down, we hit save. So we've answered the narrative questions, we've entered our numbers, and we hit done. All right, let's scroll down and see where we are. Here we go. Is our report complete? Commitment report complete? Yes, the band is blue. We reported for 2020. You're all set. Hit next. If you've reported before, you know there's a bunch of narrative questions we have and the additional information, questions about EMS progress, objectives and targets, BMPs. In 2020, we're going to have another question about what you're doing to deal with climate change. We ask that you fill out these questions. Well, actually, they're required to fill out in order to submit the form. I just put in tests in most of these narratives for speed. And you'll see this last one is still blank. So I'm going to go up here, and even though the last question is blank, I'm going to submit report. See what happens. All right, certify and submit. And you can see there's an error because we left one of our narrative questions blank. So we'll go down here, just fill in test. And hit save. And if you try to submit a report that has blanks and all the narratives aren't answered, you'll get an error message explaining to you where the problem is and what you have to do to fix it. Let's submit report again, and hopefully this time we won't get an error message. Report submitted successfully. So an email will be sent to DEQ telling us that you've submitted your report, and I believe you received a email too certifying that. Now you can go back to your memberships and you see that your tab is now changed to submitted. Once we review it, the tab, if everything is okay, will change to approved like it was in 2019. If we have questions, sometimes a number looks wrong, we will ask for information. It's called information requested, and that'll be a red tag here that says information requested. You'll get an email about that, asking you to go back in and answer some questions. And at that point, if everything is good, we'll go ahead and approve it. So let's go back to our dashboard. All right, that was a quick run through of the VEEP reporting system using myDEQ portal. One thing to note, once your facility is approved, this little tab here turns to green and says approved. It disappears from over here because this is items due in progress. So it won't be due anymore. It'll move over to your VEEP memberships, and this will be approved. If you have any questions along the way when you're working on this, right down here, you can click on Find Help. That's a PDF explaining the registration process and might be helpful. If you're watching this video, you probably found it on our VEEP annual reporting webpage. On that page, you'll find links to the myDEQ portal and to contacts working in the Office of Pollution Prevention that can help you with any questions you have. Right now, that would be me, Keith Bovair, or Morgan Goodman. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing your reports. Thanks.